Jeff, I'm seeing some gambling odds that are favoring the Broncos to get Tee Higgins. That to me sounds good, but I'm wary of that because Sean Payton during the Super Bowl week said that he was pretty happy with his receiving core. What's your vibe on Tee Higgins and the Broncos?
Well, D-Mac, I think folks know that Sean Payton likes Tee Higgins as a player, so that's always the starting point. But I also think that the Bengals could still do a lot of things to keep him, and I think most people I know in the league think the Bengals will find a way to keep him before he hits the market.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he hits the market, all bets are off, I think. But a lot of the folks I know in the league believe the Bengals will do something. They'll either tag him or sign him, or they'll do something to keep him. And a lot of this is based on he during the season switched agents to Jamar Chase's agent. So
okay,
that a lot of folks think that this has a lot to do with all of that in one big package. But they certainly like him, and he would be a good addition. But I think the other side of it is too, I know a lot of GMs who think wide receiver, as much as there are many, many big contracts at that position around the league, that's not a position you should like break the bank on thinking you're going to get over the top with that spot. So I think he stays with the Bengals is more likely than him coming to the Broncos. But if he's in the market, I think certainly the Broncos would take a look.
Well, the other receiver out there right now that a lot of people are connecting to the Broncos because of our desperate need for a joker, according to Sean Payton, is Deebo Samuel. And Jeff, I guess I'll go ahead and tell you my opinion on it. But I might be on an island on this. I want the Broncos to do it. I think if you want to go get a joker, that dude's as good as anybody else in the NFL. But a lot of people disagree with me based off the value, what you would give up, and the price tag because he's going to want a new contract. Do you think the Broncos will pursue him?
I think they'll look at everything, Tyler, for what you say. I mean, he's of all the players in the league, he may be the best fit for that position as a runner, receiver, refined route runner, runner from scrimmage with vision. I mean, he's got all the attributes of that spot. I think that, for me, the 10,000 foot view is he's never played every game in a season in his career. So it's just, how much do you want to pay for the possibility of, which is always the case in free agency, there's always the possibility you're paying for what the player was instead of what he will be. But I think they'll take a look because the cap hit on the trade wouldn't be too bad. I still don't have a firm grasp on, he's got 4 voidable years on the end of his contract already. Because the Niners needed it to get their own cap space. So I think to me that influences it well. What's the contract currently look like when it gets to you? And then how much does he want moving down the road? But what you're saying, I think that, from a football perspective, yeah, you dive in, he's the best fit. But for me, it's if I'm only getting that 12 or 13 games out of the year, I gotta think long and hard about that.
So the two guys we've asked you about then, let me just ask you that. I mean, they'd be dynamic players. They've had monster names in their careers already in the NFL. That being said, does a single player like that put Denver over the top?
I'm not sure it does. And I personally believe if your franchise's strategy is we're going to play offense better than Mahomes and the Chiefs, and we're going to play offense better than Herbert and the Chargers, and that's how you're going to win the division, and that's how you're going to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not sure that's how I'd invest all of my money because I'm just not sure that's a good bet. And I would think, in my opinion, it'd be bad business for the Broncos to sort of go all in on offense and try to piece together defense and think you're going to win the AFC West. I just don't think that's a very good strategy.
Well, nobody loves Sean Payton's roots more than Sean Payton and his roots. And that's and he'll tell you all the time about we, us, in New Orleans. So a defensive player, I got 2 players that have Saints roots, but maybe I can go through one of them. But my key guy actually isn't an offensive player because I don't think they're going to go for Tee Higgins. I think Zach Bond, though, is shaping up to be the big target for the Broncos. I think he makes the most sense, the best fit. And I think I'm curious what you think of Juwan Johnson, the tight end, who is also a Saints sort of guy. But I'm really much more focused on Zach Bond.
Well, it's just your fit, D-Mac. Look at the D-line he plays behind in Philadelphia. And he's had one year of his career when he started more than 6 games. So, I mean, again, It was an awesome year. I mean, a spectacular year, but he plays behind 2 of the biggest human beings at defensive tackle in the NFL in a much different scheme. That's a very non-blitzing scheme. I think the Eagles blitzed like 20% of the time all year, didn't blitz in the Super Bowl at all. He's also, I would guess he played at about 223 pounds this year at inside linebacker. I think the Broncos schematically need somebody bigger, but you know this from me. I always say you can't ignore any former Saints,
right?
As long as Sean Payton's, got such a big voice in personnel.
And that's why I bring up Juwan Johnson too. Same type of because he's a little bit of an undersized tight end too. But
exactly, but I don't know if he's got quite the across the formation impact they need, but they need any and all impact at tight end. They need any and all impact at running back. They need a better philosophy running the ball too, but they need talent. They were 3rd in the division and got to the playoffs, but they need a lot of talent to move above that category, in my opinion.
Jeff's the Chiefs dynasty dead?
As long as that guy isn't retired, I say no. I mean, he's not even 30, so hell no, they're not dead. They got Tyler, you've seen it. You played on a Super Bowl team. The erosion of a good team in the NFL is undefeated. You're just going to get picked at and picked at and picked at the more you win, and nobody's won more than they have. So they're fighting back all of those departures. I think they've done awesome in the draft, and that's how they're going to have to keep it going. But they got to fix offensive tackle, and I don't think it can be any more clear now than it was. They've put it off for 2 years, but you got to protect your best investment, and that's their quarterback. And as long as he's there, and he's not even to his real prime yet, I would say it would be shaky for all of us to say they're done.
Now, according to Darren here, we have our Patrick Mahomes and Bo Nix.
Sure do. More like Jalen Hurts, but whatever.
After that last comment, would you say it's more significant? I think they only got 7 picks, something like that this season, that they need to hit some home runs in those 7 picks, and that's how they need to keep doing it. Don't look at the success they had this year and try to skip a step in the process?
Yeah, I mean, Scotty, they're missing picks in 2 rounds. I think the 3rd and the 5th. They don't have picks. I'd have to look again, but they do have 7. I don't think this team should skip any draft picks, but that's not been Sean Payton's way of doing business. So we got to see what it looks like. I think in 16 drafts when he was running the board, they did not pick 7 picks in 11 of those drafts. So
wow,
that's not been his way in the past.
Right.
And, I would tell you, look at the Saints now and their projections to whenever they might be good again. And is that a wise way of doing it if you don't have a Hall of Fame level quarterback like he did for all of those years?
The Broncos don't have a 5th and they don't have a 7th. They have 3 6th-round picks and a 1, 2, 3,
3 6s.
So
it's a weak board. That's the danger, of the 6s may turn out to be, good picks because the board could really take a dive after that. So, but I just think this year proved that youth and homegrown players can have an impact on them. And for me, I wouldn't want to see them depart from that just because, they think they should. I mean, I'm looking at it right here. It's, the Eagles started 15 draft picks in the Super Bowl. So, and one of them was the MVP of the game. So I don't know what more you need to see. You draft and you get a couple free agents like Zach Bond and Saquon Barkley, and suddenly you're very good.
That's right. Hey, it's a lot easier once you're committed to the quarterback to do all this, and it's fun. There's a lot of different ways to
and
go.
the window, the Eagles have proven it too, that Hurts is on is on a deal you can work with.
Right.
If you have a quarterback on a rookie deal, that's your best window,
No doubt,
to win anything. And they've still got 4 years of Bo Nix on his rookie deal to whatever he becomes. If he becomes as good as Jalen Hurts, that'd be awesome for the Broncos.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be a superstar, not really. But he probably has to be as good as as Jalen Hurts. Seriously,
and I may be in the one man choir, but I loved Hurts coming out. People can go back and see where I had him ranked, but I loved him coming out. I just think he is a lot better than people have given him credit for. And the one thing they've done with, it'll be interesting now that Kellen Moore's leaving after 1 year, but Kellen Moore got him to get the ball out of his hands in the passing game, and that has transformed him into, I thought he was damn good before, but he's special good now when the ball comes out of his hands quickly.
Great stuff, Jeff. And this is Scott Hastings loves this time of year when we're talking about
hey, no, hold on. When's the draft?
The draft or free agency?
Draft.
The draft for you is going to feel like it's an eternity away, my friend.
Yeah,
I think it's April 24th.
Yeah,
so,
but hold on. Free agency is March 12th, a month from today, where things get awesome. The combine is coming up, which is cool. Like, the NFL season is upon us, and it's freaking awesome. Jeff, we got to get Scott into this time of year somehow, man. It's one of my favorite times. I'm going to get you like it too. You must love it.
No.
I'm all in on the draft.
Right.
Hey, well, you're on the draft because you do a good job, but I'll throw this out. Hey, you've started your draft boards, right?
Oh, I keep them going throughout the college season, and I really get after it now.
Where are you seeing right now, just on a round number, your first round grades are dropping into and out of? What number are you getting on that?
Going to be the fewest in a long time. I could be under 20, and I already know some teams that are under 15. So that tells you NIL is reshaping the draft board a little bit.
All right, well, I can't wait to talk more about it as time goes on. Tyler's into it, no doubt about it. Dan loves it.
Dan loves it because you love it.
Dan loves it because he loves it. Dan loves it because he's a football fan.
Dan said yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.